Mike Owens here. Today I'm joined by Jared Gordon, who joined us from the hyperbaric chamber and returns to action 22nd of June, facing Nasrat Haqparast. Jared, great to sit down and chat. How are things for you today?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for giving me some of your time. We were talking a little bit off camera. I know that you're doing your camp, the best part of your camp out in Dubai. What was the reasons for that? And are there any particular benefits of doing this part of your camp out there?
So my friend Ozzy, who's a longtime training partner of mine since I'm like 21, is the head coach at a gym here. And being that I'm fighting in Saudi Arabia, which is, basically in this time zone, I found it beneficial for me to come out, acclimate to the 8-hour time change because, I live in South Florida. So it's an 8-hour time change from here to Dubai or from home to Dubai, but it's like 7 hours from Saudi Arabia. So came out here, acclimate, because I know what jet lag is like, and it's a real thing when you're trying to cut weight for a fight and recover, and you need to sleep, but you can't sleep. So, it's a whole thing. I don't want to cut any corners. So, and Ozzy is his name's Osmat Dougal Dougal Book.
Easy for,
He's got
easy
a
for you to say.
Russian last name, Dougal Lugabov or something like that.
Um,
Or Dulugabov. I think that's how it is.
we hear a lot.
So he's a great coach. I'm sorry, go on.
I was just about to say we hear a lot about how the effects of the travel over to the Middle East and also about the weather, that the heat that you're fighting can affect fighters. From your personal experience and having done the part of your camp out there, how much of an effect does that weigh if you don't acclimatize correctly?
Oh yeah, I mean, so I've been here for 3 weeks tomorrow, and I didn't really start feeling good, like sleeping schedule till like the beginning of this past week. So you have to get here early. If you don't, it has huge effects on recovery and cutting weight. You're in a calorie deficit trying to cut weight. Just can't catch up to it, So you have to get here early.
What was your first reaction to the offer to fight Nasrat and also your first reaction to fighting back in Abu Dhabi?
Well, fight Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, excuse
But,
me.
sorry. I said yes right away. I mean, he's on a 3-fight winning streak. We're basically both on the cusp of top 15. So, you can't say no. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
I said yeah. And um sorry about that. My phone was
No
ringing.
problem.
And here I am.
You mentioned it there, 3-fight winning streak capped off by that first round knockout of Jamie Malarkey last time out. What have you made of his recent form? And give me an overall scouting report on your next opponent, what he does well, and where areas you're looking to exploit.
I mean, I think there's no secret. He wants to keep it standing.
Mm.
And he's more of a boxer than he is anything. Or uses his hands more than he does anything. He throws kicks obviously, and he has decent wrestling defense, and he's a good fighter, man. The kid's been in the UFC for a while. He's got a 3-fight win. I'm not taking anything from him. I just think that I'm the more well-rounded fighter. I know my ground game is better than him, and when I take him down, it's gonna show.
Is that kind of the key at the top level, in your opinion, is the well-roundedness? Because everybody's got a level of striking, everybody's got a level of wrestling, a level of jiu-jitsu. Is it about being great in all areas, if you like, so that you can take the fight where you need to in each relevant matchup?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be well-rounded, obviously, but I think if you're a specialist in one thing, that's really where people, if you're really good at everything, but you're also really, really good at one thing, I think that's where someone gets the advantage. Like, so say Islam versus Poirier. Obviously, Poirier is a great striker, but so is Islam. He showed it, obviously, and he's been showing it in his last few fights. But he's a specialist at taking people down and holding them there or finishing them. So, that was obviously the factor in that fight. And, so I think being well rounded is a must now in any level of MMA. But you need to be a specialist in one thing, I believe also.
What did you make of the main event at UFC 302, and did Dustin Poirier's performance exceed your expectations?
No, it didn't exceed my expectations. I knew he was going to do that. Dustin's a dog. And, coming off his fight with BSD, definitely gave him confidence. Like, man, I can get out of grappling exchanges with these big guys, and I can get up and I can finish you even after being, almost finished myself a couple times. And, he's part of the elite group, So I thought that's how the fight was going to go.
You mentioned there about specialists a couple of minutes ago. If you could maybe do your time again and be a specialist in one area, what do you think is the best, if you like, to be an actual, to have a level of competence over everybody else in your mind?
For me,
for you personally, if for the game more generally, if you could be a special, what do you think is the best to be a specialist in each of the areas?
if you can wrestle really, really well, I think that's where people shine, in the wrestling. If you can take someone down over and over again or hold them down for a while, I mean, I think it's obviously, not I know it's the most effective form of fighting. So, yeah, wrestling.
Talking about wrestling, it brings me on to my next point, because I want to talk about your last win against a very accomplished wrestler in O Madsen. I would argue, and I think a lot of people would argue, the best win of your career. So how do you reflect on that last win in MSG at 295?
Man, I'm not like, I fought Leo Santos. That might have been one of my best wins of my career too. Like, he knocked out Kevin Lee. He did really well. He won the Ultimate Fighter. He did really well in his career. He had way more fights than Mark Madsen did in the UFC. The guy he subbed George St. Pierre at an ADCC trial. Flying armbar. I mean, the guy was like a black belt champion, multiple, Ultimate Fighter winner, and, veteran of the UFC. But yeah, obviously Madsen was a great win for me. Silver medalist, Olympic Greco wrestler. And yeah, I mean, I have the training partners to work with, like my friend Jordan Oliver, who was an Olympic alternate for America, wrestled at OSU, Oklahoma State University. John Smith was his head coach. He went to the Olympic Training Center. He did Greco. He's done it all. So like, and I have the coaching to keep showing me like, this is what you got to do. The guy's a Greco guy, this and that. And yeah, I mean, I was able to get the job done, and here I am now. I'm actually fighting his teammate. They trained together, Nasrat and this, Faraz Sahabi will be cornering against me for a second time. So, interesting dynamic.
Yeah, no, I hadn't actually thought about that. It is very interesting dynamic. When you look at this fight, you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, you feel like both yourself and Nasrat are on that top 15, just outside that top 15 ranking. So with a win in a couple of weeks' time, is that the next goal, to try and break into the top 15 and try and get a number next to your name?
When I win, like, that could push me right into the top 15 or something. You never know. But yeah, or I'm gonna, ask for a top 15. I'm not gonna, when I get on the mic, you'll hear my call outs.
It's such a difficult division to break into that top 15, because like it's so stacked. There's probably a dozen guys who in other divisions would be ranked in the top 10, top 15 with the skill sets, but it's just so difficult. And it's one of those divisions as well where I feel like the ranking should carry on past 15. You probably should rank to say 10, 20 or 25, because you guys just outside that the skill level is so high.
I mean, there's at least 30 guys, 40 guys that could be ranked top 15, or be champion. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
I uh I want to bring you back to a quote from a video that you posted a couple of days or weeks ago. You're talking about what your time spent in Dubai and how you maybe weren't enjoying it too much, but you said something that's really kind of stuck with me that I wanted to bring you back to, which was the phrase, "I'm afraid of mediocrity." So with that being said, and in relation to this next fight, where is your mindset at going into this next one?
I mean, going for a finish, obviously. Got to have to have a dominating performance. So that's what I'm trained to do.
What makes you afraid of mediocrity? Is that something that why specifically those words? Because it was something that had an effect on me when I heard it, and presumably the other people who viewed that video as well.
I just like know my potential, and I'm afraid not to reach it. You know what I mean? I know what I'm capable of. I gotta go out and do it though.
Yeah.
So not succeeding is more. So like I'd rather go out trying and dying in the process than not giving it my all. So, but the goal is to obviously succeed. So
Yeah.
like the win is that is the pinnacle of the whole thing. So that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, I'm scared of being mediocre, man.
I like it. Um, there's a big fight coming up on my side of the world. In case you can't tell, I'm from England. There's a big fight between two former opponents of yours, Paddy Pimblett and Bobby
Yeah.
Green. I'm sure you're getting asked about this by everybody because you obviously have a unique perspective, having fought both of them. But how do you see that fight playing out in your mind?
The thing is with Bobby is that he's so unpredictable. You don't know what you're gonna get from him,
Hmm.
and he's when he gets going, then he wins. But he's liable to get hit, and Paddy goes for it. His hands are down. He's got that swag. Paddy goes for it. You can't. If you watch my fight, my hands were up the whole time
Hmm.
when I fought Paddy, and I won.
Yes.
But you know, fucking look what Bobby Green did to me. I'm beating him, and then he just lunged in with his head. That had to be on purpose because he was frustrated. Because he was like he didn't expect me to do what I was doing. I was winning that fight like fair and square. So I think Paddy can get it done too. I think if Bobby gets going, Paddy can't have it off night. You gotta get going right away. You can't let Bobby set a rhythm. Once Bobby sets a rhythm, then he starts getting confident and then he starts doing well. But obviously Paddy is also unpredictable and can land a big shot or take you down and sub you. So I mean, I don't know, man. I want a winner though.
Not the winner.
So, and I'll be there. Yeah, I'm gonna be there with Bilal that night, in Manchester. So I'll be sitting in the crowd watching, waiting to see who the winner is.
So it could be a big night for you. Your teammate could become world champion, and you could have your next fight booked. If it feels like there was a lot of talk about the rematch with Paddy after the initial fight, but it does feel like people aren't talking about it as much. I mean, where do you
Well, I mean,
stand
it's
on it?
been over a year,
Yeah.
and his fight against Tony, like, bro, he destroyed him, but he still didn't look great,
Hmm.
Paddy. And then all of his other opponents, Paddy, like he destroyed them. So like, what does that say about where I'm at? I don't know. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I just think that I think that they want to like. I don't. I think they want to stay away from that fight,
Hmm.
me versus Paddy, because they saw what I did in the first one. The second one, I'm not. You know, so I don't know. I think it would be awesome to fight Paddy in like a co-main or a main event in London or something, or in Vegas again. But see what happens, man. I'll go get my hand raised on the 22nd and then figure it out.